Welcome to Unfit Statesman with Zach Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I know what your first question is going to be, and I am here to answer it. What the fuck took so long? You said 3 weeks. It was closer to 3 months. There were forces beyond my control that delayed the process. There were also a lot of forces that were well within my control that delayed the process. There was some indecisiveness about formatting. You know, I got new cover art, and you can't just use pictures that you find on the internet because you could get sued. So you have to make sure you have legal ownership over them. And don't worry, I wasn't threatened with a lawsuit, but the actions that I took that delayed the process, prevented me from being sued. And just other things, the majority of the time, just so you know, we're going to have 30 minutes of me and 30 minutes of a guest and video every single time, so we can interact a little bit more with video clips and audio clips. And, it's going to be a little bit more. Listen, I'm a multimedia guy. You guys know me. I'm on the cutting edge of technology and media. You know me. I'm the futuristic journo, okay? But this week we're not going to have a guest just because it has been so fucking long. You're getting the whole weekend with Daddy. We're filling an hour, okay? You're getting the whole weekend with Daddy, and Daddy's going to take you to buy you a new toy, and he's going to get you all hopped up on sugar, and he's going to talk shit about your mother right to your face to try to turn you against her. Daddy doesn't want you to come live with him, though, because Daddy's busy. Daddy's not invested in being a father. I'm invested in being a friend, right? That's what we're getting. We're getting the friend dad for the whole weekend this episode because it's been so long, okay? And boy, what a week to come back, right? Of all weeks to come back, why not this one? With everything that's been in the fucking news lately, we'll fill an hour, folks. Don't you fucking worry. We'll fill a fucking hour, right? Let's just go over some of the things that have been in the news. Israel and Palestine. That's it. It's the only thing that's been on the news. And as somebody who is not impressed with either side, it's a very interesting thing to observe. I mean, I have no dog in this fight. What has Israel or Palestine done for me? What have they done for me? As the Sopranos say, you're only as good as your last envelope. What have you done for me? I haven't seen them doing a lot for me, ever, especially not as of late. They've been a headache to me. The only thing I have seen historically come out of Israel is shit architecture and those TikToks where those sexy 20-somethings pretend they're on the IDF. That's probably what sent Hamas in. They were probably sick of those fucking TikToks, right? They ruined the algorithm. They were flipping through TikTok, and now they only get sexy 20-somethings pretending they're in the military. And Hamas is just a bunch of fucking shoeless people running around playing soccer on gravel. What have they done for me? Nothing. So I have no dog in this fight. I have no patriotism toward Palestine or Israel, nor do I think anybody should, based on their behavior, right? I don't think anybody should have any strong, stake in the ground. Israel is the good one, Palestine is the bad one. I think it's probably it's a pretty shitty situation all around, right? It's a pretty shitty situation all around. I will say it's interesting to see how people react to these types of things, because everything that I've been exposed to on social media, particularly in social media, but more so just on Twitter and the mainstream media, they're very hyper focused on misinformation being spread on Twitter, and there is a lot of it. I will say that. I'll cut the mainstream media a break, and I'll cut everybody on social media a break. There is a lot of misinformation happening. But it's interesting to see that everybody's focused on that little pocket, that little circumstance that's a part of a much larger context of this scenario, instead of focusing on how can we fix it, how can we stop people from killing babies. It's like, somebody said 40 babies were decapitated by Hamas, and then it was fake. And then they said, well, Israel's killing babies. They're probably both killing babies, right? This is Casey Anthony's wet dream. They're probably both killing babies, but it's interesting to see, no, this is misinformation, community notes, this is misinformation. And as a person who, I like I said, is not on either team here, I go, how about we try to focus on how do we make sure that no more babies get killed? Maybe instead of trying to figure out who killed what baby in particular and who posted which correct statement about dead babies, how about we try to focus on making sure that there are no more dead babies? We could do that. Everybody's like, we got to seek the truth. We have to find the truth. We have to sift out all of the misinformation, and we have to seek the truth. No, we don't. No, we don't. Okay? I enjoy my news fake because news doesn't tend to sway my opinion on things really at all. I enjoy my news fake. We need to seek the truth. Most of you need to seek that test that says whether or not you're pre-diabetic. That's what most of you need to do. Most of you need to stop seeking the truth and need to seek a doctor to get tested for diabetes. So you can get a little orange bottle with a few pills in it. And then you can throw back that pill and wash it down with a Budweiser. And that way you won't lose a toe and you can still continue your all-pork diet. That's what most of you need to be seeking. That. Right? A little pill that can be washed down with a vodka soda or a Budweiser that allows you to continue your all-pork diet without losing a toe. Now, post 5 years of that behavior, it could get a little dicey. You might lose a few toes, but cross that bridge. That's not, Yeah, you give a 5-year plan, but post 5 years, if you lose a toe here, I mean, listen. The New Balances these days are pretty sturdy, so if you lose the pinky toe, you'll be fine. And that's, by the way, that's how you take a stand, right? That's how you take a stand. You didn't seek the truth. You sought diabetes pills that allowed you to continue on your all-pork diet, and you know that Islam and Judaism are not too fond of pork, which is you making the statement that you're not on either side, right? You're making a political statement with your all-pork diet, and that's fun. That's fun. No? Am I wrong? That's what we need. Seek the truth. Why? What is it? What are you going to do with it? You find the truth. Great. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to invest it in a stock? What are you going to do? Seek the truth. Why? Why? We need to sift through the misinformation. Why? It's not like plastering the truth everywhere in the media or on social media or in books or news. It's not like Americans are going to get any smarter. It's not like they're going to apply that with a purpose. You can find the truth. You could a direct energy weapon the truth into every American's heads. They're not going to apply it in a way that's beneficial for themselves or society. Seek the truth. Fuck the truth. The truth is no fun. Ignorance is bliss. That's a saying. It's a very old saying, or maybe it's not. I don't know where that originates from. Seek the truth. That seems dumb. It seems dumb to me. It seems like you could be doing other things. You could be making AI photos of a child being crucified and then posting it on Twitter to watch people fight over whether or not Israel did that or Hamas did that. That's what Top Lobster from Tower Gang, the co-host of Tower Gang, did. He created a clearly fake photo of a child being crucified And the people on Twitter bit, and some people said it was Israel doing that to a Palestinian child, and there's some people said it was Hamas doing it to an Israeli child. It shows you the absurdity of the situation, right? It shows you the absurdity of the situation. It shows you the absurdity of the reaction to the situation. Like I said, what's interesting is not the back and forth between Israel and Hamas. That's been happening for the past fucking 100 years, basically, or 80 years. It's generational war, right? It's generational war. My father was a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I don't like the Eagles. My father was an Eagles fan. I'm an Eagles fan, so I don't like the Cowboys. It's generational warfare. It's generational team loyalty. That's all it is. So there's nothing interesting or new there, right? Some of them paraglided in, which is funny. That's funny. What happened to the Iron Dome, folks? Where's the Iron Dome? I guess the Iron Dome has one weakness, and it's fucking 5'8" shoeless Palestinians just sailing through the air with paragliders or parachutes or whatever the fuck they came in with. You know, every military apparatus has its weakness. But the reaction to Israel versus Palestine is what intrigued me. As far as solving the problem, I mean, listen, I can solve the problem. How do you, here's what I would ask you folks out there. How would you handle two toddlers fighting over a toy? Okay? You're in the other room. You hear two toddlers fighting over a toy. You walk in there, you say, hey, learn to share or figure it out. I don't care if you learn to share, but figure it out and keep your hands to yourself. That's what you say. You keep your hands to yourself. Don't hit. And they look at you and they, timidly agree to the conditions that you've put forth. And then you go back into the other room and you continue whatever you were doing. And then you hear them fighting again. What do you do when you hear them fighting again? You go back into the room. You take the toy away and you say, now neither one of you get it. Now neither one of you get it. That's how you handle the situation. Get them both out. If you can't handle the Holy Land, then you can't have the Holy Land, right? If you can't learn to share, or you can't, at the very least, keep your fucking hands to yourself, you can't have the Holy Land. Get them both out, right? Get them both out. I don't care where you put them. Put them anywhere, right? Put the Palestinians with the Samoans, you put the Israelis with the Russians. I don't give a fuck where you put them, but get them both out, right? And then we bulldoze every piece of architecture on the land. We get rid of all of it. I don't care if it's a religious relic. I don't care if it's a historical monument to Islam or Judaism. Plow right over the Al-Aqsa Mosque, plow right over the Wailing Wall. Okay? And then, here's where it gets interesting, folks. And then we build a mall. We build a mall. What other structure could be more inviting to all religions, races, sexes, sexual orientations, right, than a mall? Materialism knows no color. Materialism knows no gender. A mall. The World Mall. We have the American Dream Mall here in New Jersey. I'm not impressed. There needs to be an impressive mall. What a feat of corporatism and architecture that could be. The eighth wonder of the world, the World Mall. Mall of America, I've been to twice. Not impressed. The World Mall. And it'll have everything. Imagine the food court in a World Mall. You'd have your standards. You'd have a burger place. You'd have a pizza place. You'd have a fucking Mexican place. You'd have an ice cream place. You'd have an Orange Julius for some reason because every fucking mall food court has an Orange Julius, and they're not that good. Orange Julius is not that good. But then you could get exotic foods. Then you'd have the Greek area and the halal and the fucking the Jewish deli and the Italian place and the fucking wherever. Nigerian food, Ethiopian food, French food. You'd have the entire the cuisine alone would make it worth the trip. Right? Make it to Mecca. Go on the voyage to the Holy Land for the cuisine. If you think that you're going to meet God by putting your hand on the Wailing Wall, false. Wrong. You're going to meet God by stuffing your face with amazing cuisine and then immediately getting on a roller coaster, an indoor roller coaster, and throwing up to the point where you're dehydrated and you start hallucinating. And what do you hallucinate? You hallucinate the Lord and Savior. Right? God. Allah. The World Mall. It would have aspects of all global culture. Right? What an arcade. An arcade. Right? An arcade with many different games. You could operate the American section would be just operating drones and bombing fucking Middle Eastern schools. That would be fun. And then the flip side to that, right next to that game, you can jump off that game and be a little Afghani kid going to school, reading, and hearing the whistle of a drone coming down, and now you only have a split second to get out of there, and you got to get out of there. And you avenge your classmate's death, right? That's that game. And you can multiplayer mode. You can play against the American operating the drone. World Mall. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with decimating? Why are we keeping either one of these two around anymore? Get rid of them both. World Mall. Materialism will bring the world together. Corporatism will bring the world together. It's not this, one world government globalist agenda that Klaus Schwab thinks is going to get, no. World Mall. It accepts all forms of currency. What could be more inviting? Right? What could be more inviting? And it would be very interesting if you could allow for an overlap of culture. Right? Just think of this for a second. World Mall. 3rd floor. Escalators. Up to the 3rd floor. You're a Saudi sheik. Is that a sheik? Saudis are sheiks? I don't know. And you're in your opulent white robes. But you got a stain on it. You had a hot dog, right? Or you had a fucking whatever. You got a little stain on it. You went, fuck. Drip some ketchup on my beautiful white sateen robes. I need a new white robe, right? So you go to the white linens. You go to the white linen store, right? It's on the 3rd floor. You escalate yourself all the way up, and you walk in, and you're looking through the sizes. You can't find your size. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, I'm a XL. It's not that absurd to think that you should carry an XL in white robes, right? In white sheets. Flipping through. Then you bump into a guy. You go, oh, my apologies. It's like, oh, no worries, my bad. And then you get to talking to him. You're like, you're like, what the fuck? You can't find an XL. And then you shake hands. You're like, well, what are you doing here? It's like, well, I need some white linen for my outfit that expresses my beliefs. And you go, no way, me too. I'm from Saudi Arabia. And that's how I show my, this is a religious display, my garb. Where are you from? And he says, I'm from Arkansas, and I also wear white robes to display my beliefs. What you just had right then and there is a KKK member and a member of the Saudi royal family shaking hands and fucking finding common ground. World Mall. World Mall. Yes or yes? World Mall. It's the only thing that will stop the fucking... I mean, listen, you go to the World Mall, and once, I think... Here's the thing with Russia and Ukraine, right? You bring Russia and Ukraine in to the World Mall, and they're exposed to all these other, people from different countries and whatever. And what I think would stop the war would be the realization that nobody else in the world knows the difference between a Ukrainian and a Russian. The Ukrainian would get asked 50 times, "Were you from Russia?" You'd go, "No, Ukraine." And the Russian guy would go, "Are you from Ukraine?" They go, "No, I'm Russian." And they'd realize, oh my God, nobody can even tell the difference. What the fuck are we fighting for? World Mall. But we're forward thinkers, you and I. You and I were forward thinkers. We're thinking about how to solve the problem. We're not trying to react to the misinformation online, right? There's no need to react to the misinformation online. There's enough people doing it already. You and I need to be the problem solvers. How do we stop the war between Israel and Palestine? World Mall. You're welcome. You're welcome, world. You're welcome, planet Earth. Everybody's like, oh, we're on the brink of World War III. No, we're not. We're on the brink of World Mall. We're on the brink of World Mall. First, it feels good to be back, folks. I'm so happy to be back. It's ideas like these that I felt compelled to come back to podcasting and ensure that I was sharing it with people. It's selfish for me not to share my ideas. It'd be like withholding the cure for cancer. If you have wisdom, you must share it. Is that not a saying? If you have wisdom, it is your responsibility to share it with others. I'm not entirely sure that's the exact wording, but there certainly is a saying that lives within that realm, lives within that general theme. World Mall. World Mall. All right, folks. This is an interesting video clip that I found. It is something that I think it's a very important thing that we do every week. A lot of times we get wrapped up in what's going on in the mainstream media, what's going on social media, which obviously everybody knows as of right now it's Israel versus Palestine. But there are other things happening. And I think it's good to cover things, pockets of goings on that aren't getting coverage. And there's a few of these that I want to show you. And for those of you who are listening to audio only, these are going to be videos. But don't worry, I'll explain to you the visuals. I'll happily explain to you what's happening in these videos. But this is, I believe...
a generational curse.
Yeah, so this is a Vietnamese or Filipino. He's one of the weird Asians. He's one of the Asians that it's not Japan or China. And he's on a stage with a woman who seems to be a healer or a preacher or something, which is crazy. Fucking woman preacher? The hell? The hell is this? But apparently he has a something on his mind that he would like to share with the audience, and she's going to help him solve the problem. So let's take a listen.
Free right now. Is there anything you wanted to renounce?
I want to renounce a generational curse. My child is autistic, and he has no brains at all. Like, we've tried everything, and I've gone through deliverance before, and it's just so hard to break this curse.
God is breaking.
What a good father. Getting over his stage fright. There's a lot of people there. There are a shocking amount of people in this church, I guess, to see this happen. What a world we live in, folks. That's the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's what's going on. You want this to continue to happen? You think this is fucking fun? Wouldn't you rather have them all here? Let's see what happens. He's got a very weird shaped head.
This generational curse right now. Thank you, Jesus. His power is here right now. It is time now for your deliverance and your family's deliverance.
He's screaming.
I break
he's down
every generational curse off of you, off of this whole family. And I detach this family and you from what you spoke. I declare every spirit attached, every spirit of witchcraft, every spirit of mental illness. I declare on 3, all must leave him in Jesus' name. 1.
And now he's flailing about. I tell you what, I tweaked my back over the weekend, and this is how I did it. I was having demons exorcised from me because I thought I was autistic. I said, I need to get rid of this fucking generational curse. And then she exorcised the demon out of me. I flailed about, and he's got to be careful. You got to keep the core tight when you're going to flail about because you can hurt your back. You got to keep the core tight. You got to make sure that your hamstrings are stretched. You got to make sure that your hips are loose. You can't be doing this on a fucking... You got to warm up. You got to get on the elliptical before you have a demon exercise out of you.
2, 3. Free. Hallelujah!
That's important. That's important. I don't know where that is. Probably the preacher is a white woman. She is a white woman. And one of the very few who's not fucking posting on social media about the Israel-Palestine conflict. She's exorcising a demon out of a Filipino man or a Vietnamese or Laotian man because his son has autism. My assumption would be this is somewhere in America. And it's important to pay attention to these things, folks, because like I said, you're not going to get this type of exposure to these clips, to the goings-on, without searching, without watching the show. Because if you just go to if you go to CNN or ABC or CBS or Fox or Newsmax, they're going to talk about fucking Israel and Palestine. That's all they're going to fucking talk about. They're only going to talk about Israel and Palestine. And that's boring. Right? That's boring. I talked about Israel and Palestine and gave you a fucking solution. It's the World Mall. Right? Bitcoin accepted. Bitcoin accepted as transactional value. Right? And yes, to that fat fuck who is seeking the truth but should be seeking diabetes medication, there is a Destination XL in the World Mall. That'll be really only occupied by Americans, though. There's not a lot of other countries that have a significant portion of the population that can only fit in Destination XL clothing. But that's fine. It's everything for everybody. Right? Perhaps we have church services in the World Mall. Right? For all religions, including whatever the fuck this is. Whatever the fuck that was, it's clearly garnered a lot of support. Probably somewhere in fucking Texas. Right? Corpus Christi, maybe. Abilene. Perhaps somewhere, half hour, 45 minutes outside of San Antonio. I don't know. Probably Texas. Whatever that is, we'll have it. We're going to have it. Because it's everything for everybody. The World Mall is everything for everybody. We'll have live boxing, live UFC, right? We'll have a strip club. One where you don't touch the girls, one where you do touch the girls. It's everything for everybody. We'll have kosher shit. We'll have halal, or what's the Muslim thing of kosher? Whatever. We'll have everything. Everything. Because everything can be found. This is the beauty of the World Mall really is going to be a embodiment of the internet. You can find anything you want on the internet. There is something for everybody on the internet. There's been no physical manifestation of something like that. It all lives in the digital realm, right? The only way you could find it is accessing a web browser, but no more. We're bringing the internet to life. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to purchase, whatever you want to consume, it will be available at the World Mall. Because, listen, and by the way, we've already, just the mere thought of this beautiful idea has put Israel and Palestine way in the past. Nobody's even thinking about it anymore. Have you thought about Israel or Palestine for the past 5 minutes while we've been explaining this eighth wonder of the World Mall? No. When you're walking through the food court to get an Arby's roast beef sandwich, your thought isn't going to be, wow, I can't believe I'm walking on the ground that used to be an Israeli settlement, that used to be a Palestinian's home that was bulldozed right in front of them. You're not going to be thinking about that. You're going to be thinking about, does the roast beef sandwich come with au jus dip? Because I went to the Arby's in Tampa, Florida, and they didn't give me the au jus dip. What the fuck? They better have. And folks, they do have the au jus dip. They do have the au jus dip. And, all these restaurants, they're going to give you ample sauce. Ample sauce for the ample mall. What a structure. Can you imagine this? It's the solution to everything. I really hate to say that there's a universal remedy, right? Because nothing is a universal remedy, but this is. The World Mall is a universal remedy for everything. There will be doctors, both practicing Western medicine and Eastern medicine, in there, just in case you get sick. You'll get sick. There's a lot of germs. You'll come in contact with some germs that you're probably not used to, your immune system is probably not used to, because you're going to be coming in contact with people who live in different parts of the world, in different climates, where different diseases and viruses thrive, right? With different animals that carry different bacteria. But that's okay, because we have all of the medicine you could ever want. There will be a GNC, so you can get protein powder and creatine and fucking C3 pre-workout, so that when that fucking Indian man beats you in the deer hunt game in the arcade, you will have enough energy and volatility to get in a fight with him. Security will be buttoned up at the World Mall. We will have some high-level security at the World Mall. There will be no horseplay allowed. No. No horseplay allowed. Horseplay is what got us into the mess that we're in now with Israel and Palestine. We got a little horseplay. Starting back post-World War, or pre-World War. or post-World War One, post-World War One, when the French and British just started drawing boundaries for these different countries, Libya, Syria, and Lebanon. Sorry, folks, I don't know what happened there. Imperfections like that wouldn't exist at the World Mall. I don't know what I was talking about before. Post-World War One border drawing, European-inspired border drawings. That's what I was talking about. And I'd have my podcast studio in the World Mall. You can come see me, the World Mall. Right? Something for everyone. The embodiment of the digital realm. Like I said, you don't even have to go that deep into the internet to find out that there's something for everybody. You can just go on Reddit. You go on Reddit and you find out that there is such niche fucking communities that you couldn't even dream of. Right? It's like people who like pizza and have a fetish for getting a nail driven into their back. It's like, that's there, probably. Anything you could ever imagine. It's the embodiment of the internet. Every subculture, every niche, every preference, every kink, everything at the World Mall. There's something for everybody. And it all encircles itself around the beautiful ideal or beautiful truth, the beautiful reality, the beautiful behavior of materialism. Instant gratification. Muslims, you can still make the trip to Mecca. You can still do it. We'll give you we'll give you the whole west wing on the second floor. You can do your religious, you're praying, whatever the tradition is. Same thing with Jews. We'll build a wall inside. You can put your hand on a wall in there. Right? World Mall. Okay? Now here's something I found. This is a little bit older. Right? What I'm about to show you seems to be from a game show. I don't know. I have no idea what it's from. But in the World Mall, we would have full episodes of this, whatever it is. It's from a game show where there's a panelist. It's like the guests are the panelists who are judging like pictures of people or profiles of people or something. And on the screen is a gentleman, and we move over to this Mexican man who is now going to give his opinion on this guy's profile or bio or his picture, whatever. I don't know what the game is exactly, but you have a good enough idea. And like I said, we will be airing full episodes of this game show on the World Mall, at the World Mall, the grand opening.
That he's black? Absolutely not.
David?
Please. And I knew this was going to come. Okay, I'm going to say that he's looks like he's native Texas, and being from Texas, I would have to support that. But I don't like him on the fact that he's black. Absolutely not.
David?
Please. And I knew this was going to come. I don't like him because he's black.
Are you?
All right, just to set the picture here, folks, we have obviously, this is a Mexican man who is openly admitting that he does not like the gentleman on the screen because he is black. There is a black panelist sitting 2 chairs away from him. The rest are white women. And now this is, I suppose, the fallout from his expressing of the fact that he doesn't like him because he's black.
Are you even serious right now?
I'm a minority, but I got a problem.
I was going to say.
And I tell you one thing. This is, again, the embodiment of the fact that white women have a quick first step when it comes to these things. The black guy has yet to even react. He hasn't said anything to the Mexican guy, although he is clearly the one that should be the most offended. The white woman sitting next to him is the most offended. She jumped on it first, right? Those white women, they could be running, but they're political running backs. They hit the hole and they run downhill. They're quick. They jump on everything. They were the first ones to jump on the Israel-Palestine thing. This white woman on the panel here was the first one to jump on the "I don't like black dudes" Mexican. I mean, what can you say? I mean, white women politically, they run a 4.40. Their shuttle time is off the charts. Their vert's probably around 42, 43. I mean, we are talking about the quickest political creature. That's what white women are. The quickest political creature. They are the Manny Pacquiaos. They are the Tyreek Hills of politics. Anytime anything happens, the first person to comment, the first person to express an opinion, anything, is white women. White women. Or white queens. Those are the first people to jump on the... Listen, somebody fumbles, guess who's jumping on the ball first? White women. All right? White women.
Hold on. You're like a minority yourself.
Absolutely.
We wrote in
That's the black guy. The deep voice is obviously the black guy.
yesterday together. So I am to assume, based on what you just said, that you
And I'm saying these things for our audio listeners, so I don't look insane on the video.
don't like me because I'm black?
I'm talking in a general sense here. But the fact is...
General sense of how much more general than you can be. Then you're sitting in a car with somebody, you're writing in it, you said it, you opened it up.
Am I?
You did that.
Okay, let me tell you this.
You must be out of your...
It doesn't matter if we wrote in or not. It doesn't matter. I don't know you from anybody, okay? We share the
out
same
of your
cab.
mind to say
But you know
something
what?
like that.
My personal beliefs and my personal experience, I don't like them.
You know what I really enjoy? First of all, there's nothing better than open racism from minority to the other minority. When a minority, and this is inter-minority racism is common. It's very common. And it's funnier and more ruthless because they don't have to feel ashamed about it. They don't have a sense of shame the way that white people do, at least white people in this country. I don't know how they act other places. But when a white person says something that could even be perceived as racist, the first thing they have to do is backpedal, right? The first thing is a backpedal. The second thing is acknowledgement of what you said may or may not have been perceived as racist. The third thing, apology. They dig their boots into the soil and fucking double down. And that's funny. It's funny. They don't have to have the sense of shame. They're not afraid of being labeled as racist or being called a bigot. They can let it out. They can let it out. This is one of the most fun things that you can come across in life. Inter-minority racism, right? Because it's a battle. It's a battle. And it's on an even playing field. White versus black, white versus any other minority, that's not on an even playing field. But Mexican versus black, now we got a ball game, folks. Now we got a ball game. Right? It's an interesting watch. Let us continue.
I never have, and I never will.
What is it about black people that you don't like?
Also, a white woman stoking the flames. Right? They know how to get people fired up. They're ticket sellers, right? Our white queens are political athletes and they're political ticket sellers. They're chief marketing officers and also, they're the person who convinces you to come to the show, and they're also the show itself. Isn't it amazing? Our white queens. I love them. I love our white queens.
This ought to be good.
Yeah. I'm strapping in for this one.
Yeah, well, strap tight.
You might want to strap me in for this one.
Well, the thing is, based on the experience and the people I've worked with, where I come from, I'm sick and tired of people thinking, specifically I am mentioning black people, thinking we owe them something, that the world owes them something.
There you have it. It's It's a pocket. It's something that you're not going to be able to see on the news right now. Inter-minority racism, and there will be a lot of it at the World Mall. There will be a lot of it at the World Mall. In fact, that may be worthy of just employing, right? If you end up getting into an altercation with another minority and you yourself are a minority at the World Mall, we will pay you to box. Right? We will pay you to box, and our white queens will be the commentators on the fight. The World Mall. Right? And again, after watching these different things, after watching these different clips, are you even thinking about Israel versus Palestine anymore? No. Right? Why? Because we found the solution. Are you worried about misinformation on Twitter about what's happening in the Israel-Palestine conflict? No, because we found the solution. World Mall. World Mall on the Holy Land. Right? One Holy Land Boulevard. You put it in your maps application on your phone. Some of you might have to take a few flights. Get to the airport, call an Uber, say, One Holy Land Boulevard, please. And a gentleman smoking a cigarette inside his car who refuses to roll the windows down takes you directly to the World Mall. And you are in awe of the structural beauty of the World Mall. Just the how big it is. How large and beautiful the architectural prowess is. It's a perspective changer. You see the World Mall, you go, what are we fighting about? What's all this geopolitical unrest about? Why am I worried about, whether or not the yen is going to collapse? Or why am I worried about whether or not China is going to invade Taiwan? I can just go in here and eat a hot pretzel with cheese and then go down a slide, and I'll definitely see a Chinese man and you go, are you guys going to fucking invade Taiwan? Because a while back we said that we had to defend them, and I don't know why we did that. I don't know why we put our stake in the ground that we were going to defend Taiwan no matter what. But if you guys invade Taiwan, then we have to fight you guys. You guys aren't going to invade Taiwan, are you? And they go, well, we might, but we don't know. You go, well, we should try to figure something out so we don't have to fucking go to war, and we can keep going down this slide and eating hot pretzels, right? And watching inter-minority boxing. And the Chinese man says, yes, I agree. Yes. Yes, I agree. We do need to figure something out. Right? And that's how this will be the mecca for conflict resolution. They say business gets done on the golf course. That's what they say. Wrong. I mean, maybe it gets done on the indoor golf course at the World Mall. Business gets done at the World Mall. Conflict resolution gets done at the World Mall. Humanitarianism originates at the World Mall. And if there is any fighting between anyone, we turn it into entertainment for the rest of the people, so that even in those dark times where folks are fighting about an arcade game or who cut who in line at the fucking halal stand, you take that moment and you turn it into something positive. Sure, we don't like the fact that two people are fighting about the last fucking game of Monopoly at Toys R Us. We don't like that. But we use it as an opportunity to bring everybody else together. Because now everybody else is they're going to crowd around. They're going to fill the stadium. Right? They're going to fill the stadium to watch them box. And everybody's going to have a good time. And everybody's going to leave happy. And shit, even the tension that those two people brought into the World Mall will be relieved because they let it out during the boxing match. Everybody will be better for it. Right? Everybody will be better for it. You say, Zach, is that the only solution to the Israel versus Palestine conflict? It seems a little far-fetched. No. Probably not. But I, as of now, am the only one providing a solution, so there's not. You know what? I kind of feel like this guy. I had this guy queued up. I was going to say, if you say, Zach, this seems a little far-fetched and very expensive. Take a lot of investment from Vanguard and State Street and BlackRock. It drain their fucking bank accounts. How can we do this? I don't think they're going to be willing to put that much into this idea. There's got to be a simpler way to solve the Israel versus Palestine conflict. To that, I would take on very much the spirit of this gentleman right here.
Ask you a question. Why do you still hold these Nazi ideals?
You got any better ones?
Do you got any better ones? Do you have any better ideas? They've been fighting for fucking 100 years. And like I said, I can't think of anything better than to end a 100-year religious conflict than tearing down every existing structure that stands in the Holy Land, all the religious monuments, and building a mall. Malls are fun. Malls provide you the opportunity to spend money that you don't have. But that doesn't matter that you don't have that money, because right now you're having fun. You get stressed and anxious later, but that's only after you left the World Mall. And if you feel stressed and anxious, what's the cure? The fucking World Mall. We'll have therapists there. And drugs, SSRIs, and Xanax. Like I said, I really hate to flout my idea as a universal remedy for all things, but it kind of is. It kind of is. You say, I'm anxious. Okay. We'll go to the World Mall. What makes you not anxious? Is it Xanax? We've got it. Is it weed? We've got it. Is it drinking to excess and pissing in public? Sure. We'll allow it. Maybe it's something as simple as fishing or yoga. We've got it. Right? We have the world's most attractive yoga instructors, and we have Peloton classes where there's really high energy women. Right? Only the highest of energy women are teaching our Peloton classes. Right? That's what the World Mall says to you. How can I help you? Ask not what you can do for your country, but what your ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Right? That's what the World Mall is. It asks not what the people can do for it, but what it can do for the people. What's your problem? Right? What is the issue that you're having? You had a nasty breakup. And you're sad. You're down in the dumps. You need to take your mind off of this beautiful bitch that you once loved. One Holy Land Boulevard. Go right into the fucking World Mall. Right? Get a fucking cinnamon roll and go on the Ferris wheel. It's hard to be sad on a Ferris wheel. Right? Play a round of golf. Go to the arcade and play Deer Hunter and race a fucking race a Mexican. They take your mind off things. Right? You'll never think once about your girlfriend while you're in there. And even if you do, or your ex-girlfriend now, even if you do, say, oh, that fucking, that Peloton instructor reminds me of her. Just leave the Peloton studio and go to fucking, go to M&M World. It's everything for everybody, every remedy for every problem. I can't believe this is not something that has been floated out before as a potential solution. I mean, one for the Israel-Palestine conflict, but I mean, I'm talking true global peace. True global peace. Rooted in corporatism and materialism and stimulus, just overstimulation, instant gratification, escaping life, altering your mood and mindset. Global peace. We won't need a United Nations anymore. Right? We won't need a United Nations anymore because we have the World Mall. Right? We don't need mediators between global powers anymore. We don't need mediators between long-standing enemies like Pakistan and India. They won't have a problem anymore. Why? Because they won't be thinking about the arbitrary border between their two countries when they're fucking on a roller coaster at the World Mall. Right? Imagine this, and this is what I will leave you with today. You set the scene. We're in the World Mall, right? It's hot outside in the desert, but we have beautiful, cool air conditioning inside. Not a single person is sweating, except the obese man eating at the food court, but that has nothing to do with heat. He just sweats while he eats. An Orthodox Jew and a Palestinian standing in line for the roller coaster. Neither one of them says anything to each other. They're at the end of the line. And the roller coaster conductor brings them on, brings the Jewish man, the Orthodox Jewish man on first. And then the only seat left on the roller coaster for the Palestinian to sit is next to the Israeli man, the Israeli Orthodox Jewish man. The Palestinian is hesitant to do that. Why? Probably because he watched his son get blown up into 10, 15 different pieces by the IDF. And the Orthodox Jewish man doesn't want to sit next to the Palestinian either. But they'll deal with it. They heard that this new roller coaster is the hot news of the day at the World Mall. It's the thing that everybody's talking about. And they got to experience it for themselves. And so these two at one time enemies, they bring the thing over, they lock themselves in, and the roller coaster starts to slowly move forward. It goes up the incline. Both the Jewish man and the Palestinian man are getting nerves in their stomach. It's kind of scary, but it's also thrilling, right? It's terrifying, but it's also, boy, what's going to happen? The mystery, the thrill. They're excited and a little bit nervous. They reach the apex of the incline, and all of a sudden they drop. They feel the butterflies in their stomach. The Jewish man's fucking side curly sideburn things. They're flying back like a 80s woman's hair in a convertible. Flying back. Looks like streamers on a bicycle. And they go through this and they have such an amazing time. They forget that they're even sitting next to one another. They aren't even thinking about religion. Not thinking about the settlements or the fucking Hamas invasion of 2023. That's all behind them. And so they leave. And then they both go to the stand where they take your picture, the roller coaster, and they realize that when they were going down, they were both smiling and leaning on each other in that picture. Now tell me something. That happens enough times. You think there's going to be an Israeli-Palestine conflict? No, sir. No, sir. So while everybody on every other podcast or every other whatever the fuck is talking about the misinformation surrounding the Israel-Palestine conflict or attempting to convince you which side is the bad guy or the good guy, we have solved it, folks. We were the forward thinkers. History will remember us as the forward thinkers and the problem solvers and the peacekeepers. Am I right? I am. World Mall. World Mall. That's it, folks. Thank you. What an episode. It's great to be back. For those of you who stuck around during the sabbatical, I thank you very much, and I hope that the new format is enjoyable for you. Like I said, moving forward, the majority of these things are going to be 30 minutes of me ranting, 30 minutes of a guest, and much more digital media, right? Like I said, we're a multimedia podcast now. We're on the cutting edge of podcasting, you and I. And I'm excited. I hope you are excited too. But that's all I can give you for today. Thank you, folks.